and I am here. So if you've ever wanted to do a live on Facebook, it's so doable, guys. It is so doable. I'm gonna put this up properly so you can see a little better. It's so doable. Basically, I mean, I had to learn. I just kind of used YouTube to sort of show me how to set it up, and I'm still not. It's still not perfect, but it's still not perfect, but it's there. You know, it's there. It's there. And so I'll start here. We're here live on Facebook. I'm just a few minutes early. It's usually going to be at 4:30 p.m. today Eastern, but starting next week, after Christmas, so starting December 27th and 29th, and the following Sunday, because I go live Sunday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, it's going to be at 1 p.m. Eastern. So every day, 1 p.m. Eastern. And I'm just hoping like you could catch parts of this presentation or just kind of jump on even here on TikTok, kind of during your lunch if you're on the East Coast or anywhere in between. You can always catch the replay and comment in my comments if you're on live or if you're on the replay. And that's the beauty of this online community we can create for ourselves, is that we can kind of catch up and we can still stay relevant and present with the people that we like following, even if we miss the live. But again, I go live 3 days a week. But today, I'm actually going to continue my conversation about, personal finance for women, fierce women over 50. Okay, I'm Ilima Hong, and I actually talk about passive income and positivity, right? And the passive income comes from the methods of affiliate marketing and digital products. Now, that's the income part of it, right? And I focus mainly on the opportunities for passive income. And the passive part comes in after you put your systems in place online. Okay, you set up, there's a lot of setup involved, but you can learn it. I mean, if I can learn it, you can learn it, guys. Um, I showed up here, after kind of going through a situation with my work, and it opened my eyes just by being here with a different frame of mind when I was looking. And I have this information in my presentation. I always put it in the comments. It's a Google Doc, and I just sort of go through the material that I'm going through. I always offer a free lead magnet or a PDF, a free PDF for you, sort of covering the subject that I'm talking about. And I always have a link to my Facebook group, which is where you're going to learn in more detail about the things I cover on my lives. So I'll put that in now. Of course, right, if you're watching here on TikTok and you're interested, you're going to need to jump into the Facebook group, because that's where I have all the details, guys, all the deets. But in this sort of time to just chat live with you, that's all it is. We chat. I cover a couple of, I kind of cover a presentation, but it's very fluid. I'm casual, even in my interaction in my Facebook group. I'm very supportive, assuring, but nothing uptight. So back to the beginning, right? I'm Ilima Hong, and I came to this point where I always have this message for you on my live, regardless of when this message finds you. I'm a big believer in serendipity and the energy matter, the energy around us that actually brings us together, right? And we meet at the right place and the right time, every single time. There's a reason why we meet and we come across each other. Okay? So my story is such that I'm 52 years old. I'm a mother of two young adult kids. They're kind of in college now. I've been married 23 years to a wonderful husband. I have 30 plus years experience in business. I really started in human resources, in the financial industry, and in the health industry. And then I moved into education. Worked my way up the ladder, if you could say, to be an administrator. Thoroughly enjoyed it, right? Um, Worked with students more in the teenage years and their parents, and then the community, right? And that seemed to be my life's calling. And I was good at it. I mean, still am, but that was sort of my journey, right? And I took all the classes and I took the certifications to be the best I could be, yeah, and the most qualified that I could be to represent the profession and be an education administrator. Um, and if any of you know about education, it was pretty gnarly the last 2 years, yeah, with COVID and the challenges, and everybody felt with the challenges in their own line of work. However, I do feel that the public education really struggled. Um, we struggled for a number of reasons, and without getting into it too much, I mean, I think it has to do really with the system too. I think it's such a large organization, and then to pivot and be flexible and be responsive to the changing environment, which was a pandemic, it was difficult. It was difficult to move this large body of an industry of education. But we tried our best. And, teachers struggled because we had to learn how to instruct and inform online, okay? Whereas even if you were in your classroom, and even if you dabbled a little bit with technology and introduced your students to a little bit of technology, there's no way you were prepared to learn how to instruct fully online, right? Sometimes asynchronous, just fully online. And many tried and many succeeded. Many of our teachers and support staff and administrators didn't do very well with it. So regardless of that, we persevered, right? And we came to the point where we were able to welcome the students back, after things were safer and they were in classes and in the on campus. But things were not the same, right? They were not how it was prior to us experiencing that. And we had a whole bunch of social issues and other social emotional learning issues. Okay. However, my point to that is, even if you commit and invest and have really good intention about the career you're in and the line of work you're in, if you are working for someone else, you are still at the mercy of them making decisions, and them maybe even yeah, ultimately making decisions about you and your job. And so that's what happened to me. And I was informed, not included, I was informed that my job was changing, my setting was going to change. Even I viewed it as my purpose changing. And that was allowed, right, and by the employer. And I had no input whatsoever. And I had to take that information and just come to terms with it, right? And I had to do a deep dive into making sure that I could be resilient, right? And I could come out stronger, and if not stronger, at least enabled ability to cope with the stress of learning that. Um, and then I had to be a role model for my family. Like I said, I have a husband and I have two young adult children, but their priority, as wonderful as this is and sounds, their priority is me, right? And if they felt in any shape or form that one day, that a decision was made, and one day, sorry, they found out that something changed for me, they're worrying and they're making sure that I'm okay. So I had to be that role model for them, right? And I had to tell them, yeah, I'm okay. But I had to really ground myself with three questions that I've sort of repeated in many of these lives here. And the three questions are, who am I? I had to know in my core that I was worthy of a wonderful life. I was not deserving of someone else's scrutiny and mismanagement of me. Okay. Number two, I had to know, and to some extent, who are they? Right? Are they important to me? I had to ask myself that. And maybe with that reflection, I was able to sort of stand up taller, even though things were changing around me and almost appearing to crumble around me. And then the third most important question was, really, what were my priorities, right? What are my blessings? And that are those blessings include my health, right? My relationships. And the third thing that no one can take from you, just like those two things, but no one can take from you, was my capacity, right? My ability to learn new things, my ability to innovate and change things around in my own life. Okay? So when I got that revelation and I took that to heart, then I was able to move forward. And so then I chose, like maybe many of you, I chose to kind of scroll on social media, and I found the accounts and the people who were talking about making money online. And there were many accounts. And what I gravitated to was the idea of creating an online business and creating passive income through that, right? Through this online venue. Then over time, I realized through my own self development and working with a very good mentor and trainer and a program, I found within myself that I have knowledge and information that I can share. Okay? And I can share it in the form of digital products, or I can share it in the form of webinars and training. And then I also learned about affiliate marketing, which is another phenomenal method of earning income online. So, fast forward, that's about 7 months of a journey, and here I am, and found a way to share this story with many of you here online, and it resonates with many people. And so I thought, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to speak to me, the person I was just 7 months ago, and try to help that person. And I did that by coming up with these sort of quick live story time and as well as information. So I put together a quick presentation on the 5 things women over 50 should do to prepare for retirement. Okay, how do they keep walking through the inevitable, right? The day that they don't have to or they can't work anymore. And, how do you equip yourself to make that journey as livable, exciting, joyful, um, hopeful as it can be? So, the first thing we all need to talk about is start a retirement savings plan. Okay, ladies, start it. There's no easier time than today to get on Google and look up Vanguard, look up Schwab, look up oh, I just had that at the tip of my tongue. Well, there's several options. I use Vanguard. I'm not paid by them at all to say that, but I've been using Vanguard for years. I've rolled my 401k over to Vanguard when I was done with the human resources job, and I turned that into an IRA. I opened Roth IRAs for myself, my husband, and my children opened it after they were beginning to earn money in their part-time jobs. And I'm a huge believer in these very practical, very simple steps of investing that way and starting your savings plan. And I can't emphasize enough how easy it is now to do that with your mobile apps and all. And I told my kids who are older and they have their Roth, I said, there's no easier way than to assign $20 a week or $100 a month out of your checking account to your Roth or to your savings, long-term savings. Then you can do it now. Like in the past, we'd have to what do you call that? Wire that money, or we'd have to set it up in our accounts and have it, direct deposited, go to the bank and get that all communicated properly and then set up. But today you don't. Okay? Then another thing you need to do is to review your Social Security benefits. Knowing exactly how much you'll receive in Social Security benefits each month after a certain age can help you plan your retirement budget. Okay, it's actually something you need to understand, right? Go to irs.gov. That's the main site for you to go and start to learn about it. You'll also get statements from the IRS that tells you what you are projected to earn when you are a certain age, and there's different ages and different tiers that you learn about this. Okay. The next thing to really consider to get yourself ready is insurances, right? What insurance plans do you have? Is there term insurance? That's where you just have an insurance plan that you set up maybe a while ago and it stops at a certain term. Maybe it was 15 years, 20 years, or 30 years. You see what you did there? And then did you pick up any long-term care insurance? And a lot of people think like, I'm not going to need it and that sort of thing. But there's a strong likelihood that expenses for your health and your overall living expenses as it relates to your health, expenses are going to increase. And a long-term care insurance policy could help cover those costs. And again, I'm not an insurance broker. I don't do those things. But you could probably call your car insurance company and see if they have those things, or they have a affiliate company that does that, or talk to your friends and see where they have it. And another good person to ask is your doctor. Honestly, you can ask your doctor, who do they use? You don't need to get the same plan that he or she has, but you could get a plan and you at least could speak to someone. You can ask the nurses. You can even ask your dentist. So these are people you trust and have had some sort of advising because they're in a little professional kind of career. And that's how you could get information there. A fourth way for you to prepare for retirement, fierce women over 50, is to look around your own home and see if you could downsize a bit. And downsizing is really just, I'm not saying dive into the whole minimalist lifestyle, but having less things that are of less value, really don't have the value to you today than they had years ago. Donating, selling, or just trashing it, if it's not useful anymore to even anybody else, could free up space, not only in your home, but in your head. Yeah, clutter just kind of affects us in so many different ways. Like, not just the fact that there's clutter in the house, but it affects you emotionally and mentally too. But if you could downsize, even if you changed your home environment and you downsized from a larger home to a smaller home, you'd have to look into that and get the information. Again, this is very general, but they're just tips, right? They're just kind of meant to sort of put some reminders in your mind. And when you come across people who are in that line of work, then ask. Yeah, ask them, what's the market like? What are people doing in my age? People that you serve. If you're a mortgage broker, or if you were a realtor, or if you're talking to even your dentist, right? Then you can just ask. And last, the fifth thing for you to consider, fierce women over 50, is your health, right? Let's make our health a priority. After giving so much to our families, to our marriage, to our community, right? The last 4 or more decades for you have been all about giving. And you might not have taken the time to care for yourself, but it's not too late, okay? It's not too late to take some very simple steps and help your overall health, right? Including walking, or being a little more conscious about what you eat, or if you can take on some wellness practices, meditation, or just general breathing, stretching, yoga, you know, there are just a host of things and they don't cost a lot of money. You don't have to always, think that that's going to be breaking your budget and though you can't focus on yourself. No way. No way. I'm here to tell you, please don't think that that's what you have to do. But putting yourself and your health, which would include, right, wellness practices, medical screenings, right, talking to your doctor, having your annual this and your annual that, including dental, checkups. All of that is all possibly included in your insurance, and you need to take advantage of that. Um, hey, Sammy Lax. So I'm just chatting here. I'm on Facebook and I'm on here with you. In about 10 minutes, I'm just going to be on TikTok and I'm going to be talking about this further. So on Facebook, I have put in the comments the presentation that I'm sharing. And if you're watching here on TikTok, you can get that presentation in my Facebook group. You can see it here on the banner behind me. Go ahead and join the group, and then you get access to the materials that I cover in my lives, and then I have free training in there about creating that passive income stream for yourself. So I'm going to add 5 ways to soar your finances into the new year. Oh, guys, this is so possible for all of us. I'm going to put that in the comments too. It's a PDF. You can open it and download it to your drive, and you have access to it just like that. That's why this is incredible. And then I'll also include access to my Facebook group, Essential Digital Biz with Ilima Hong. So while we are on that subject of, just putting our finger on the financial security and future for ourselves, women over 50 or women in their 40s, in their 50s, you come to the point where you realize that I might have less time in front of me than I had behind me. Okay, so what am I going to do with the next few decades that I'm not promised it, but I could have it? And how am I going to make those next few decades just fierce and fabulous like I am? Okay, how do I put things in place like creating another stream of income even while I keep my 9 to 5? Okay, you can find a sliver of time in your day and just schedule it for learning how to set up your own passive income online business. And the reason why I support and I talk about an online business is because, face it, this technology is not going anywhere. Actually, this technology is pretty much leaving a lot of us behind. It's just soaring, right? It's just growing and innovating and providing more comfort and convenience for us, more opportunity for us to connect easier, more opportunity for us to share information, learn from one another. So all of that is available here online. Now you have to learn some systems, but you can learn it. I learned it. Okay? There's a lot of advice out there, but you need to have 3 things, right, in learning how to start preparing and building your own online business. You need to have good training of a proven strategy. Okay? And that could be training around affiliate marketing and or digital products. So I provide information in my Facebook group about both. And then the second thing you need is a teacher whose style and teaching style and communication and approach works for you. Okay, so you're gonna see a lot of courses out here, especially on TikTok. I see it all the time. A lot of $7 courses out here, but you might jump into it and then find out that you're not, jiving with this person who's teaching, right? Like you're not liking it, or or they talk too fast. You're not getting it right away. And I'm in education, so I know the learning styles are different with each person. And you can't always differentiate as a teacher. I know you can't always differentiate as a teacher coming across a recorded training. So when you're a student and you kind of start to listen to this teacher and their training, and you're motivated because you want to learn, right, affiliate marketing or digital products, or just in general what an online business is, well, you'll kind of know in the first 5 minutes or 15 minutes or so if you like the way the person teaches, right? It's not only visual, but it's how they sound. What words do they use to articulate the lesson? And so, and what materials are they offering? Are the materials in the interface of the classroom or the course room? Is it something you understand? Can you navigate it, right? So all of those things are important, and I have that information in my Facebook group, and we talk about that there. Okay, and then the third thing that's important is having a community. Okay, and that's why Facebook groups offer this time in a group who are learning. Maybe they're not learning the exact same program as you, maybe they've chosen another program in the group, but the learning and the experience and the opportunity to communicate your learning and maybe even the challenges you're going through. You can check in with that group and ask a quick question, right? How many of you are doing this? I'm thinking I'm going to do this. What does that sound like to you? And you're going to get a lot of engagement and response, and it's especially from me. So we can connect that way too. And those are the three things you need. Okay? So I wrap up here on Facebook. Again, I'm Ilima Hong. I talk about passive income and positivity. I have my Facebook group, Essential Digital Biz with Ilima Hong. I have TikTok and a YouTube channel, Instagram as well. But so do you. So do all of you. I'm not trying to brag about it, but I've created these social media accounts so that I can connect with people where they're at, right? Our fierce women over 50 may not all be here on Facebook, may not all be there on TikTok or Instagram or even YouTube, like all of them. So I've just been able to have a common message and a theme that runs through all of my accounts, and hope that that helps, those who are connecting on those platforms. And go ahead in the comments here, let me know if you're watching live or the replay. Let me know if you used any of the PDFs or the presentation that I have on there, and if it's been helpful, right? The feedback I get from you can help me tailor the information I provide. Right now, I'm just general, but when I get some real feedback like, oh, I'd really like to learn more about affiliate marketing, then I respond in my Facebook group to make sure that that sort of is addressed. Okay? Thanks so much, everyone. I really enjoy this time together. Again, I'm showing up 3 times a week, Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursdays. Starting next week after Christmas, it'll be 1 p.m. Eastern. And but until then, you just got to watch here for the actual times that I do it. And I'm going to sign off here. And thanks so much.